Praise the Lord. Praise the living Jesus. The way you are praising this guy, you are making me think he's dead. How far? Wow. Praise the living Jesus. GC is a church for young guys now. What? People are following my hand though.
You not say it well.
Okay.
As in GC is a church for young guys with unspeakable joy.
Okay. I like that. GC is a church for young guys with unspeakable joy. If you have that joy in this house, raise your voices and praise
Hallelujah.
the living God.
They try.
We can
I
manage
think
that.
GC Junior would do better.
Okay, that's true.
GC, are you guys
GC
there?
Junior, are you here?
Okay. Praise the
Hallelujah.
Lord.
Let's just manage it.
And they were fighting for scores.
They were fighting.
Like it's one match.
Let's just manage it.
Okay, praise the Lord.
So our next item is a talk show. So to help us, we are going to invite some special people.
Special one. Like special guest.
Some special people to assist us here. So first on our list is Mrs. Lara Adekoya. Please jam your hands together as we welcome her up. Then, yes, ma'am. No, please sit down. Then second, we have Mr. Laolu Lemoshi. Please help us.
Praise God. Praise the Lord.
Then thirdly, we have Pastor Ayo. Ma?
Pastor Ayo. Like Pastor Ayo.
Pastor Ayo.
Like,
Okay. Oh, I'm understanding now.
Okay.
Enlightenment just came. Pastor Ayo Oluwadayo, right? Okay. Thank you, sir. Then last we have Mrs. Gift Error
Mama
from
give.
the choir.
Please, they made it a girl boy thing. Why is it a girl boy thing? What is it now?
It's like a man-woman thing.
So our topic for today is
Correcting
teenagers.
Praise God.
Because we've noticed that sometimes, or rather, most people complain that teenagers nowadays are rude, they have a lot of misbehaviors, and we don't think we misbehave, actually.
Yes, I don't misbehave.
I don't. I'm a good boy.
I'm a good child. My mom.
So
And I'm not rude now.
I'm not rude.
And they think, okay. Yes, they think.
So we've brought them here today because sometimes we don't think the way they correct us is right. You'll be shouting. We are not
And you'll be
deaf.
bringing something
You'll be
that...
beating us. Kilo day.
Long cane.
If my daddy
In
slapped
GC
me
Junior,
like
they
this,
call it-
hey.
In GC Junior, they call it melody. That thing, they use it to wipe.
In GC Junior, they even nicknamed it Harmony and Melody. Very
Sweet name.
misleading name. Ogdosin just called us one day. Help me bring melody and
I
harmony.
was looking for melody.
I thought it was a child. Ogdosin just wiped my back like this.
You felt it, then.
I felt it.
Okay.
So, our first question will be to Pastor Ayo. Sorry, sir. So we want to ask, in this age and time, what do you think is the best method for correcting teenagers?
Well, when it comes to correcting teenagers, I want to say, in a way, I have learned to always respect myself. The way our parents corrected us then, I dare not try it now. Things have changed, and that is the gospel truth. If you will ask me, I will say appealing to the sense of reasoning of that teenager is a lot better when it comes to correcting. Parents sometimes want to be quick to shouting on them, not knowing that these teenagers, they are adults too, they are growing, they've got their own mind. So if you will ask me, I'll just say, well, I'll appeal to their sense and just let them know what they have done wrong, and then take a decision by yourself. Punish yourself by yourself.
Thank you, sir.
That's
Thank you
me
very
anyway.
much, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, so next will be Mrs. Gifts. Okay, I know 3 of your children. You've raised 3 teenagers successfully. Please give her a round of applause. That's not
3
easy at
stubborn.
all. That's not easy. So, okay, I'm throwing this question to you too. Out of experience. I'm sorry. I was talking of the same question. Like, how do you raise teenagers? How do you correct teenagers in this age and time?
First and foremost, let me say by the grace of God, on my side, I have been able to raise them from their baby age to where they are today. What I feel helped me to raise them was, one, I had a purpose. I had a vision on how I want my children raised. If I didn't have that vision, I'm not sure I would have been able to raise them to where they are. That vision is one thing that has kept me. And I didn't just keep the vision to myself. I played that vision to them that this is how I want you people raised. So when you're going out of that vision, we have to bring it to check. So that, for me, if there's a purpose, I think the children will align with that purpose. But where there's no purpose, you can't actually bring them together. So let there be purpose. For me, it's purpose that has driven us this far.
Okay, so she said purpose. Mama Gift said purpose. If there's no purpose, there's no bringing them. While Pastor Aya said time. Time has changed. True, time has changed. Though. But on the other hand, we still have Minister Lou. Please, let's hear his own side of view. Mr. Lou. We still have Lou. Yes.
Amen. Amen. On my own side, I feel most of us, we lost our child or our children from day one. As in, for you to correct your child at a teenage age, you must have bought their trust from day one.
Exactly.
Once you have their trust from day one, then you will have little to do while they are teens. On my own side, what I did is this: from the one I made my son my best friend. I don't see myself as a dad. I saw myself as a friend from beginning. And the reason being that I knew what I went through. I knew some people, only few people they know who I am. So I knew what I went through, and I don't want any of my children to go through the same thing. So I changed my mindset that if I'm a friend to this guy, then I will buy his heart. He will be open to me from all angles, and I have very little to do. People say teenagers are rude, but I don't see them as rude because we don't understand them.
Exactly.
If you bring yourself down to them, to their levels, you'll find that they're not rude. And at the time, we also went through that same stage. So why do you want to crucify a child for doing what you know you did more at that time? Why do you want to crucify them? Why not, why not allow them to show their potentials? Try to learn who they are, understand who they are. Don't make them your own person. They have their own entity. They have their own mindset. Understand who they are. Then you know how to guide them. I tell my son, I'm playing you an offside rule. I'll let you go. I'll watch you. But everything you're doing, I'm putting my eye. But I will not shout at you. But when it's time to come, I call you in and we'll talk. You can tell, most times he does something stupid. Just call him, boy, let's go out. We just hang out, we talk. What do you feel about this? and say, Lou, I'm very sorry. I know I made a mistake. So if you bring yourself down to their levels, I'm sure it's quite easy. On my own side, it's so easy. I don't have any problem at all.
Praise God. He said something about bringing them, like, taking them as your best friends, close friends. So, I would ask a question. Do you think correcting teenagers, and while you're correcting them, you're bringing something that happened in the past? Like, it has happened a long time ago, and you corrected the kid for that stuff. And he does another thing different from that correction. Do you think bringing that old time stuff back to the present is right to correct a teenager?
You can't have a present or a future without having a past. There's always a past that translates into the present and the future. Fine, there are times that you might have to bring it back that you did this time, I did not say anything. I know why I did not say anything, but I'm giving you probably the last chance for you not to do the same thing again. But my own, they say, when I'm hungry, they know. When I'm just saying it, they know. From the voice they hear, they know what to do. They calibrate their brains. So I don't need, even if I don't bring it back. But when I talk, they know where I'm going. And they say, no, it's like Lou is angry at this time. And I've made it to an extent that when they are wrong, they come back themselves. Lou, I'm sorry. Because they know I don't get angry like that. But my anger is not good. So they don't like to see it. So I keep quiet, I take my eye off. And they know themselves that this time I'm wrong. But there are times you need to bring back the past. And there are times, if you want to flog well.
That, if you don't mind, if I could just add to what he has said, we also need to understand that now, talking about teenagers, when they say I'm sorry, most of the time they don't really understand the gravity of what they have done so far, because I'm sorry can be as many times as possible over a particular issue. So, in as much as I'm not trying to keep a record of what they've done, at the same time, I allow myself a lot of patience so that this person can understand very well what he has done. Then that's when I can actually take sorry as sorry indeed. I'll give an instance. My son, I got him a phone and he likes playing computer games and all these games on the phone. And I told him, Mister, if you continue to play games on your phone, this phone cannot handle this. And I found out that it's taking a lot of your time. And every now and then he will keep telling me, no, Daddy, don't worry, I'm sorry, I won't play games again. I'm sorry, I'm very, very sorry, I won't play the games again. But give it 2 or 3 hours later, he's playing the game again. Doesn't mean that he's not sorry. Until an incident happened. And I said, oh, okay. Daddy, I now understood what you are saying, or what you were saying then. I am truly, truly sorry. I said, okay, so as usual, I still take your sorry. I hope you are sorry indeed, like you claim. So I allow for a lot of rope, knowing fully well that these guys are just growing. So sorry once may not be enough. So there are plenty, allowance for plenty sorries, as the case may be. But the thing is, once they understand, I believe they understand. They do, yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Mrs. Lara, Lou said something about flogging. Personally, I don't like cane. I don't think any normal human being likes cane, but, there might be some goods. So, what do you think is the right method to correct children? Correct teenagers, I'm really sorry.
Okay. A lot of things I would have loved to say have been said. And first and foremost, we must, as parents, understand that our children are human beings. They are individuals. Now, if you understand the phase of teenagehood, it makes things easier. What is the understanding? The child is somewhere in between being a child and being an adult. So a teenager is trying to find himself. A teenager is trying to I'm not a child. I'm not an adult. Okay, where do I fit in? So you will have a lot of those outbursts and all that. And I agree with you. You are not rude. You are not disrespectful. You are just expressing yourselves. You understand? So when I have to correct a teenager, first and foremost, I keep in mind the feelings. A teenager is emotional. According to science, a child at teenage years is more developed emotionally than logically. So there is not a balance. There's an imbalance between emotions and logic. So, for example, your teenager that is saying, I'm sorry. That I'm sorry is, you want to hear sorry. I'm sorry. So, to correct a teenager, I am first and foremost conscious of the teenager's feelings. So I will not correct a teenager in public. I will not embarrass a teenager. Whatever you want to correct, don't do it in the place, especially for boys. You want to correct a boy, and then there's a girl is trying to check somewhere around. And then you are now embarrassing him, talking about how he beat his sister yesterday, how he did this, how he did that. And the girl is like, this guy, no, I'm not anymore. So we need to keep those things at the back of our minds. And then as parents too, I always tell, don't forget where you are coming from. I will never forget this experience with my father. I was 17. And what I did as far as I was concerned was not a big deal. And my father flogged me. I cried. But my crying was not because of the physical pain. My cry was emotional. I was so embarrassed and so I keep that at the back of my mind. I've walked this path before. So I ensure that I don't embarrass you, but I do a lot of talking. My children know that. I do a lot of talking. And then Ulu said something about catching your children before they become teenagers. If you have not caught a child, if you have not gained a child's trust before he becomes a teenager, the likelihood that he will not listen to you is higher. But when you have gained a child's trust, a child can come to you at any time, even when he messes up, and you are able to handle it, then that child will consistently come to you. So what we want to achieve in disciplining our teenagers is actually to help them to become whole adults. So we're like, okay, I'm an adult already. I've been there before. Let's walk. Let me show you how to become a better adult. Like she said, we show a vision. This is what you should be like. So when you mess up, I'm like, babe, guy, that's not the way you are. That's not you. You are better than this. You can do better, So instead of shouting and flogging, I know that as parents, we get there. I get to those points. I want to beat you. I want to handle you and just beat you and let you understand that I'm your mother. You cannot be doing this nonsense to me. But I keep at the back of my mind that child's emotional development is also important.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Like me, when I'm flogged, before I used to cry. But one day, my daddy just beat me. I vexed. I didn't cry again. He was talking to me, I'm your father. And I was looking at him. My eyes were red. Now, he gets angry easily. My anger is slower, but I get angry too. So how do you think I should express my feelings to him without getting him angry?
Your dad is already angry. So as you are, your best bet is not to do anything to get him angrier. Because I can imagine your house. I can imagine you and your dad. You're as tall as your dad. If you let that anger, I have seen young people beat their parents. I have seen it. So I would advise that you don't ever let yourself as a teenager get to that point where you're angry to the point that you feel like, I see, I've been where you are. So I understand how it can be to be a teenager. Like, what's wrong with this man? Don't you understand that I'm grown up? I'm grown up myself now. What's wrong with you? Is it because I'm under your house? I get the psychology. But you must put yourself under control. And if it's possible, I also know that parents make it difficult. You want to walk away. Mom, daddy will say, you are walking out on me. Then you stand there, you're looking at daddy, and daddy say, why are you looking at me? You know? So it's a bit tricky and confusing, but it's up to you to understand who your parent is and learn to manage it. I would have said, okay, when you are done, you take yourself inside and then you think about it. You think about what he's talking about, because sometimes your parents are actually correcting you out of love. The method, you may not like the method, but at the end of the day, they are doing it because they care. There are parents that don't care. If you like, go and kill yourself. Just be going. But they do it because they care. So you must keep that at the back of your mind, that my dad is angry with me because he wants something out of me. Okay, so what can I do to help my dad feel better about how I have acted? So you could later on now go back to daddy and be like, daddy, I'm sorry, you know, I'll try my best not to do that again. But daddy, you to cool down now. Daddy, you know, just bring him down and be his friend. And let him know that truthfully, you will change. We know that your changing is a process, but at least let's see the effort.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So, Mrs. Gift, how do you think you should correct a teenager that's already down a wrong path?
Okay. To answer that question, I think I was a victim of this question. Since I was the father, the mother, so I didn't want any mistake. As in, this is how I want it, it must be. So that was how I was coming with them. Anything, discipline, flog. At a time, it wasn't working. Like Luz said, he's best friend to his son. And actually wanted that. But I wasn't getting it until I now adopt the dialogue method. It wasn't about me just talking, they don't talk. I stopped flogging, I stopped scolding. What I would do, please, I want to see you. Sit down, let's talk. I will talk. When you want, I'll say, hold on, let me talk. When I'm done, okay, now I'm your mom. I'm not your mom, but if there's anything you know, forget I'm your mom, say it, I won't kill you. So that method started working for me. And also, I've learned to give them their space. I was using that eye of, this is 1 year, 2 years, till I was using that eye to like, it now dawned on me, these are adults. Yes. So now, this is how you want to play, like he said. Just be playing, I'm behind you. If you want to fall, I'll tell you, there's a ditch there, don't go that way, you will fall there. So that, for now, if you say this is what you want to do, first and foremost, if it's in line with God's way, go ahead. But if it's not for me, I will never support it and you won't do it. But if it tallies, let it go. You're going to make mistake, but if you don't want to listen to the mistake, go. Behind your mistake, I'm there to put you through. So that's, for me, that was how it's been working.
Please, I would like to add, sorry, please, before you, I would like to add that we also need to understand that people learn from mistakes. So trying to stop a person from making a mistake can be counterproductive at the end of the day. So sometimes, let them make that mistake, but you are there. You have made the mistake, okay, come. You see why I was, you will be like the evangelist in their head. You know I told you that you shouldn't have gone that way, but you decided that's the way you wanted to go. And then you help to restore them if they make mistakes. Also, of course, there are some situations where you will not even allow this. But some little things like decision making, you need to learn to allow them to make their decisions. And then if they miss it, you are there to guide them. But let's not be all over our teenagers to the point that that mistake, you must not make it. You made mistakes. Let them make their own. Just stand by them. That's important.
Praise God. Praise the Lord. Well, this question should be going to Mr. Lou. Is it right to, like, when you're correcting your teenager, like when you're correcting your son, is it right to compare him with other kids?
That's a big failure. Once you do that, that's a very wrong thing to do. Like I said before, they are an individual. They have their mindset. You can't compare, even the pastor and the twin, same day, but they're not the same thing. So definitely, children cannot be compared with another child, you will learn to deal with the personality of the child you have, and understand that don't mix your own personality with theirs. Try to understand their personality. I have a belief. Everything you need, everything that you need to become a better person in adulthood, God makes you to go through it. So what I went through is not what my son is going through. What he needs is what he is going through. So if I have to push him to what I went through, then I'm already making him to go down. He's going to nosedive. So the best thing is to understand who are you. Then I try to deal with the person I have. I cannot compare another person's child to mine. I'm first to say this, my parents made a mistake. They were comparing me to my cousin. He's very, very brilliant. We're the same year, 3 months. I wasn't brilliant, but I have where I'm going. But probably because he's always coming first in class, like I don't like my son, I was never even up to average. But I had where I'm going. Before they understood where I was going, it took a long time. And it was just God that made me to go on the right path. If not, I'm sure I'll be somewhere else. So don't ever, ever compare. Now, my cousin is a doctor. Now I run my company. Everybody is doing fine. So thank you. That's what matters. So never, never, never compare. And I want to say this again. I feel it's wrong for a father or mother to tell the child, I'm your father or I'm your mother. If I tell my son, do you know I'm your father, that means there's a mistake somewhere.
Yes, sir. True.
Naturally, he knows I am the father. So why do I must tell him, do you know I'm your father? He knows. So if I play my part as a father, he's going to go align with it. If I don't play my part as a father, then he will derail. That's why I'm going to think I'm your father, I'm this, I'm that. It's a natural thing. And as a father, learn to love. Just love these kids. Once you love them, they will open up to you. I will have told you a story, but I don't know if you allow me to say it. Tife, should I? All right, he said I should not. I would have, to tell you the kind of trust I've bought, or he bought or I bought, either ways. We had a connection already. And it's because I let him be who he is. When he finished his final exams, when we were come back to the country, I told him, oh boy, you're coming in as a man, no more as a boy. He told me, I want to play football. All right, play football. 1 year. After 1 year, you go back to school. I said, no problem. It's an agreement. He's doing fine where he is. He will finish very soon and go back to school. And we're all fine. Then, no, this is this. No, this is this. No, this is this. The guy is going to be rebellious. Let them be. Let them enjoy themselves. Please.
Praise God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise God. When I saw this question, I was actually laughing because it's one kind of fact question. It says teenagers are kings and queens of talkback. How do you handle them? They're kings and queens of talkback. Yes.
Okay.
When you're talking to them, they
Can I answer?
answer yes, ma'am.
Can I answer? You will also learn to talk back. That's the honest truth. You would learn to talk back politely on a lower level. You are going to, I already have a preteen that is already talking back to me. She's not yet 10, and she's already talking back. You say, and what is wrong with you? And she gives me what is wrong with her. And I say, do you want to blah, 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 blah? She says, yes. And we are going back and forth and back and forth. And initially, the first time I realized that she was talking back at me, I was angry. But I went back and I realized that, okay, I have a sassy child. You are not going to, my firstborn will not talk back. My firstborn is calm and quiet. But my second child is sassy. She wants to express herself. She doesn't want you to cover her up. So you have a child like that. You are going to learn to also talk back, but be the one that talks sensibly. You are the one that will ensure that you don't get angry, no matter how much they talk back. You are the one that will ensure that whatever they are talking back at, you make it like you know how water falls on the back of a duck. You don't take it personal, because at that moment, that child is just being emotional. And then after the talk back, everything has calmed down, you must have a discussion. It's important. Children want to be treated like individuals. Your children don't want to be, you don't keep telling them, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. Like Lou said, you are building your own, you are building an extension of you. That's what you are doing if you keep telling your children what to do. But if you allow them to realize that this is this, they come to a consciousness by themselves. You'll find out that that sassy child would gradually realize that, okay, there's no point. Because the reason that child is being sassy is probably because you have not always given a listening ear. So once you create opportunity for listening over time, for having discussions over time, you'll find out that the sass will go down. And then you can have honest, sass as in SASS, it will go down. And you can have conversations. So what you want to do with that child is have conversations. Constant running conversations. That child wants to talk, allow the child to talk. And then you control your emotions at that moment. It's easy, like he said, to say, what is wrong with you? Do you realize that I'm your mother? Do you realize that I'm older than you? Before you were born, I'm the one that gave birth to you. Yes, it's easy to say all those things. But at that moment, you probably have to be the one to calm down and then have a discussion. But don't let it go. A teenager will talk back. Don't let it go. After the teenager has calmed down, have a conversation. And the conversation should also border around, I didn't like the way you talked back to me. I didn't like what you said. I didn't like how you said this, this, and this. You should also try and get feedback. Okay, why did you even say it? Am I truly like that? And then by the time you have those back and forth dialogues, you will realize that after some time, it will go down.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. And our time is up, but we'll have to take this one last question. It says, why do parents think giving a teenager phones is not good? And giving a teenager phone is not good, or maybe when they have their phone and they're on WhatsApp, Facebook, etc., and they think it distracts them from their academics. Dario, can you answer that question?
Permit me to answer the question with a question. Does it distract you from your academics?
It really doesn't distract me.
But that's what you think.
But that's the question.
No, that's what you think. You think it doesn't distract you. Can you see talk back, playing back in now? All right. Well, in a way, we may want to. How do I say this now? I don't want to sound like an old school stuff, but in a way, again, I would say things are changing. In those days, what am I doing with phone? Are there phones in the first place? So it's the reality of time nowadays, and that's what we have to cope with, except that it has to be moderated. It has to be minimal. Just because a lot of things are flying around on social media, and then we need to be watchful. I don't want to expose you unnecessarily to all the hills on the social media. So I will give you the phone, but it has to be regulated somehow.
Sorry, can I add to it? Okay, like Sister Lara said, that teenagers are in between adults and children. Teenagers, listen. You feel you've come of age, so you have right to exercise, do whatever you want to do. No. Like, Giving a teenager a phone is not wrong, like Pastor Ayo said. Doing the right thing at the right time and doing the right thing at the wrong time is what the problem is. If you have a phone as a teenager, when you're supposed to be reading, you're with phone. If past 10, you're still WhatsApping, 11:30, you're WhatsApping, is wrong. So for such teenager, I will not give you phone. If I give you rules and this is when and what time you should use phone and you don't abide by the rules, then you are not fit to use a phone.
At the end of the day, what we want to achieve, teenagers, is to protect you. Always have it at the back of your mind, no matter how difficult your parent is, or no matter how difficult you think your parent is, they want to protect you. They want to guide you. They have your best interest at heart. So if a parent is saying you cannot have a phone, or are giving you your phone, or your parent is giving you a phone with conditions, prove that they can trust you with those conditions, and they will give you more free hand. But you need to prove yourself. You want to become, yes, you are children becoming adults, but you also need to prove yourself. So over time, prove yourself, and you realize that your parents will relax a little bit. But you have to prove yourself. So why don't we give you phone? Is to protect you. Prove to us that you are wise enough to handle those things. Prove to us that you can handle it and still handle life issues. Then we'll cut you some slack.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Saz and
Saz
Maz,
and Maz.
and you all for being a wonderful audience. See you next year. Yes.